Dear friends, today our topic is micro teaching skills. This micro teaching skills is a method of teacher training or teaching technique. Before we are going to teach our macro lessons, every student teacher should have a little idea about what is micro teaching. Micro teaching simplifies the complex teaching process so that student teacher can cope with it. Like, for example, the teacher is going to teach a macro lesson that is for 40 minutes. So she or he has to first prepare himself for teaching the short skills. A short lesson taught by the teacher training to a small group of students is called micro teaching. Then, while discussing micro teaching, let me focus on the topic. When in the classroom teaching, it is very vast from introduction, explanation till evaluation. So while going through the process, at least you should have the knowledge about the depth of the teaching strategies, that is micro teaching. The short skills, if we will have mastery over it, then you can easily able to teach the classroom teaching learning process and you will be a part of that particular thing. So micro teaching is basically based on these cycles which focused on plan, teach, feedback, then again replan, reteach, refeedback. So the whole process continues and we can repeat this process. The skills of micro teaching considers introduction skills, then skill of probing questions, skill of explanation, then skill of stimulus variation, skill of blackboard writing, and skill of achieving closure. These are the main micro teaching skills. So let us first discuss about the skill of introducing a lesson. How I'll introduce a lesson? By linking with the past experience of the students to the present scenario. Second, you can link between introduction and the main parts of the lessons. Or you can use appropriate devices or any techniques, or you can ask little simpler questions, or you can give examples, or you can tell a story to introduce your lesson. Our main purpose is to establish linkage between the past experience with the new lessons. So in that way you can introduce your lesson. Stimulus variation is also another micro teaching skills where we are talking about teacher's movement, teacher's gesture, teacher's posture, how the teacher is doing the voice modulation, changing in voice, how the teacher focusing on the points, then change in interaction pattern means how the teacher is switch between the main points to the sub points. And while reading and explanation, the teacher is taking pause or teacher is teaching continuously. That we have to take care. In the students' physical participation, in every lesson, it should be the interactive one. Gone are the days when the students are the passive listeners and the teachers are the sole instructor or the trainer. Then audio visual switching, like you have to switch between the oral visual things. Sometimes you have to speak, sometimes you have to show some teaching aids. In that way, you have to manage. Then the skill of explanation. Skill of explanation is like you have to use the beginning and the concluding statement. Using explanations, links like conjunctions, or there are so many things so that you can link between your explanation, what you are explaining, and in the next point, exactly you have to establish the link. Then questions to the students for the better understanding whether they understood what you have explained or not. Then the questions followed by the correct responses. Like every questions, after each response, you have to ask another questions to establish the link. In that way, you can explain in a better way. Then in your lesson plan, maybe in the classroom teaching learning process, one part is questioning. So the skill of questioning is also very important when you have to take care of why, what, why, where. So this is one example that I want to give you. How do I ask effective question? For example, apple. My favorite way to remember to use the questioning is apple. Apple means it's the abbreviation like ask question, then take a pause, then pick one learner and listen what he is saying and then again explain it. So my mode of point is apple. So while using skill of questioning, you have to use this apple strategy. And another skill of micro teaching is very important, that is skill of blackboard writing. Blackboard writing skills includes legibility of handwriting. Like student teacher while writing on the board, you should maintain that adequate space between the two letters, adequate space between two words, and the size of the letter is not too very large, not too very small. So from the far or the end of the room, the student should read it properly. In that way, you have to maintain your blackboard. And another thing is you have to maintain the neatness in blackboard writing. That is a main important aspect of blackboard writing skills. Then this is the appropriateness of writing the work on blackboard. So first point you should remember the continuity in points. What you are writing is the main points, then sub points, in that way continuation. Then brief and simple points should be written in the board. Then sometimes you should underline the years, the date of birth of the students or any important dates or points, underline it. And if possible, use some colored chalk pieces to highlight the main points. Then at the end of the lesson, you can use the skill of achieving closure. Sometimes what happens when we are explaining something and we are ending coming to the end of the points, but unless and until you are doing the closer part, unless and until you are summarizing it, the students will not be able to understand. So the questions and statements by the teachers related to the major points covered during the lesson, that you have to focus at a time. Then student teacher uh, always link the present knowledge with the past knowledge. Then while closer, you have to maintain you have to provide the students in that way so that they can apply that knowledge, that gained knowledge during the lessons to a new situation. That is called transfer of learning. Like whatever they learn, they should apply it in a new situation. The opportunities provided by the teacher to the pupils for linking the present knowledge with the future learning. So that is the basic objective of the skill of achieving closure. The pupils should be able to link between the present knowledge with the future learning. So in that way, today we have covered the few micro teaching skills. I hope this will help you while you are preparing for macro lessons and while you are going to teach a full lesson in your class. Thank you so much.